Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you on behalf of Xavier School of Human Settlements, Xavier University, Bhubaneswar, in our next series of webinars. Today, we would be talking about the MBA Urban Management and Governance at Xavier School of Human Settlements. The idea of this webinar is to actually do a conversation and discuss about the attributes and characteristics of Urban Management and Governance program, that is MBA UMG, at Xavier School of Human Settlements. Today we are fortunate enough to be joined by all the faculty members of Xavier School of Human Settlements. Along with, we are also happy enough to share that two of our alumni from the first batch are also here to discuss with us. Before I take it off, I would like to request Dean Professor Dr. Kajri Mishra to introduce the program and the school so that we can have a fundamental understanding and the background about the program, and then we can proceed with the conversation with the alumni. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Mank, and welcome to all the participants. The MBA Urban Management and Governance program in XUB and currently in the Xavier School of Human Settlements is one of the first programs, management programs in urban management in the country, and the only MBA in urban management in the country. The program was started with feedback from industry regarding the kind of talent that was required, the kind of skills and understandings that were being required increasingly for managing urban areas. Planning was not found to be enough. They needed managers. But on the other hand, we had management graduates in the country who did not understand cities. Many people from industry actually gave the understanding that they took a long time to get planners to understand the management aspects and the MBAs they were hiring to understand cities, and therefore felt that urban management program, just like the many that are there across the world, would be a good, would be really a good initiative to meet the talent needs in industry. As you all know, cities are really at the forefront of our fight for sustainability, and we, as our urbanization grows, we will be needing more and more professionals to be diverting their energies to managing urban development. So the MBA Urban Management has been conceived as a full-scale MBA program, which means it gives all the understanding, knowledge, skills that a regular MBA student has. It is based on the full range of functional skills that a MBA possesses, with application to the urban context, which basically would mean that the transference of management science from corporate management or a private corporate context to public context. In doing so, a lot of the inputs will need to become public management inputs. And therefore, the program is not just an MBA, it is an MBA plus program. So it has all the functional courses. It also has the whole range of courses that are required for a student to understand the complexity of cities, the various sectors, and the public systems that make up cities, including the the systems for mobility, water, waste, housing, and various others. And that's what basically the program is. Now, Professor Mike, if you want, I can elaborate more.
Sure. So basically, the whole journey started in 2016 when the university started with the program of MBA Urban Management and Governance. And till date, we have 3 batches who have graduated. The course is equally, or I would say balancedly divided amongst various courses which can be classified into management courses or public system courses, urban domain courses, little concentration courses also. So basically in those parts we would be also discussing and deliberating with the alumni also today. And right at the foremost, I would like to discuss some of the guidelines for today's webinars, which would be like we would be discussing today for approximately 30 minutes to 40 minutes. All the suggestions and comments we would try to incorporate from all our participants in the webinar, as long as it is in our, I would say, scope of the discussion today. And further, if the time would not permit, I would ensure that we would be able to definitely write back to people through email or their mobile numbers. And in that case, my only request to all the participants who have a query is that please write your email or your mobile number after your query also, so that we can actually follow back with you. So on that note, I would like to start with our alumni. I welcome Mr. Biswa Prakaskar and Mr. Amit Kumar to this webinar today. They both have graduated in 2018 from our first batch of MBA Urban Management and Governance. And we are very proud of our first batch of students, because they are into all domains of excellence and I would say professional practice. And if as a school, if we reflect back into our first batch, we find that we have all kinds of people in different skills, different roles, and different leadership roles also. So that gives us that confidence and courage that definitely this program would be going ahead. So I welcome both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. A lot of thanks.
Thank you. So I would start with Biswa Prakaskar. Mr. Biswa Prakaskar is an electrical and electronics engineer, and has more than 7+ years of experience. He joined the program and he took leadership roles in not just academic roles, but also in managerial roles also within university. Post his graduation, he was actually placed in Questcorp organization in Bangalore, and presently he is the business development manager at One Infra. I would request Mr. Prakaskar to actually reflect back upon, so that you can introduce yourself to all the participants, and then you can tell briefly that presently what are you doing.
Hello, everybody. I hope you all are safe and you are staying inside your home during this pandemic. And I would also like to share my experience, how I came to know about urban management and governance course in Xavier University. Basically, I was working as a site in charge with Aditya Aluminium, where I came to know the course, and I took a decision that I should go for an MBA. Primarily, I never thought about urban management or any discipline for MBA. But later, as I am a industrial automation specialist during my after BTech, so I thought it is a good initiative by the government at that moment, introducing smart cities, focusing more into urban development and creating some ICT and IoT based infrastructure for the cities. So this is the main cause of what motivated me to join Xavier University and particularly in the urban management and governance program. So in this way, I started my career with Xavier University as an urban manager, and I'm right now working with One Infra, which is basically a transport company, and now venturing into various pan city ICT IoT implementing smart public infrastructure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Viswa. Thank you, Viswa, for letting our viewers know that you had a very varied background in electronics and electrical engineering. Then you came up to urban management, and right now for last more than 2 years, you are into this domain, and I can quote that it is quite excellent performance. So hello, Amit. I would like you also to introduce yourself, and also I would like to explain that what are you doing presently.
Okay, hi sir, hi everyone. Hope you all are doing well. See, my journey starts with after completing BTech in mechanical. I was working as a production manager in Dainik Jagran. So it was basically where I was working. Something was related to quality control, production management, and core mechanical things. But my inclination was towards developmental sector. So initially, I was thinking of rural management. Then I came to know the IGNOU's program on urban development, developmental sector. So, and in that during the same time, the Jagran used to print the Times of India, and where I was the quality control manager. So I used to see the newspapers for especially the advertisement, whether they are well printed or not, or whether we need to improvise or not. So I was seeing going through that advertisement. And then I saw Xavier's University, this program about urban management, and I thought that it's a good program. I can fulfill my dream of working in a developmental sector, consulting sector, wherever I can, means diversify after a program. So based on my interest, so I decided to go for interview and yeah, further processes. So that's how I came to know about program, and my interest towards developmental sector just uh, uh, means uh, due to my interest I just uh, got admission in program. So this was the journey till admission. So after admission, what happens? So initially, I came with an inclination that this program will be more inclined towards developmental sector. Like what happened when I uh, just learned the things with time, I learned that no, I can diversify in many sectors. I can be a manager, I can be a consultant, I can be just perform a role, any role related to pertaining to this urban development or urban management sector. Uh, and by luck, I got a chance into JLL, a real estate consulting firm. So there I was working. Uh, I worked for more than 1.5 year, approx 1.5 year. I worked in JLL in real estate consulting, and that was a uh, not real estate consulting pertaining to private consultants. So it was more towards government consulting. So if a government wants to develop a housing society or affordable housing project in a city like Patna or Bhubaneswar, so I work majorly in Eastern India. So I am giving example. So I got a initially I got a chance to work in a project in Patna. So government wanted to develop a affordable housing projects in on PPP mode. So you know what was the added advantage with me, a general MBA student. I in my team there was planners as well. My even boss was the planner from SPA, and many people are over from general MBA backgrounds, from good colleges as well. But you know the drawback with them was like a planner. My boss was a planner. He was not no boss was, at least he was working with 15 years of experience, but he was a view on his financial aspects and all, but he was not a good financial modeler, and he was not having a core domain knowledge of finance. He was having knowledge of a very good knowledge of planning and how we can study a city. Just like MBA, the people from MBA background, they were having a good knowledge and view on the financial modeling and other aspects of management. But
So,
you
Amit,
know
I will
what
come
was?
back to this. Amit, I will come back to this. I just want right now to you to explain our participants that what are you doing presently, so that they
Okay.
are well aware about what are you doing, and then we would definitely discuss our course curriculum also.
No, I was just trying going to finish it. So just like I was having added advantage, like I was having the basic knowledge of finance and planning both. So that was a added advantage with me, and that only due to the course structure I got, means. And after that, I am currently working with the capital projects infrastructure team in PwC. So it's basically my work is related to feasibility studies for any big projects like developing a CBD or central business district, which we call. So this is for all the, because all the people are the new, they will be not aware with the CBD's terms and all. So kind of feasibility studies, viability study, conducting whether the project will be viable, or economic impact assessment. So currently I'm working with these things.
Thank you, Amit, for introducing our participants about your journey, right from your mechanical engineering days to your present day role. That what are you working on? On that note, I would come back to you, Biswar, to ask you about what is, if you can look back into your, actually your batch, that is the class of 2016-18, then can you explain our participants that what was the batch structure, what kind of varied discipline we were represented in our batches, and what was the overall experience with those kinds of mixed skills?
Yeah, so basically we are 17 numbers of student in our batch 2016-18, where we have one BBA LLB, one law student, a few commerce students are there, then as Amit, me, and there are other people who are from engineering background, and that too not only from a particular domain, from mechanical, from civil, then from electrical telecommunication. Myself, I was from electrical electronics. So it's a mix of a diversified background with engineering, commerce background, and law background. So being a placement arrangement means I was a part of placement committee. So it was very helpful for me to understand the diversity of the domain and pitch accordingly to the companies to how we can add value to those companies in terms of urban development. So there are various means I don't think there is any limitation for any streams of students to join this kind of program. This is a very niche program and anyone can join this program.
Thank you, Viswa. Thank you, Viswa, on responding to that. Then I'll come back to you, Amit, on to respond on to a query which we are getting, that if you can reflect upon the uniqueness of the curriculum. So basically, I would like you to reflect upon only the courses right now. We would be taking upon ULE and SIPs later also, but how you would reflect upon the courses.
So that's what I was explaining when I was introducing myself as well, because this was the means added advantage with me, because I was having a knowledge how to study a city as well. Just for a practical example, being a consultant, which kind of assignments they do, or in industry they used to do, or any consultant used to do, is like if government is coming up with a project like developing some housing projects or some CBD or some huge commercial projects. So initially they used to carry a feasibility study. So what are the parts of feasibility study? You need to understand the city, you need to understand the economy of the city, you need to understand the demographic of the city. Then on basis of that, you need to do the demand assessment, and basis that demand assessment, you need to do the financial study or financial modeling things and other things. So added advantage was with me, like a student from planning background, he was only aware about that the first part, how to study a city, demographic study, or economic study. But and a management student, he was only able to do this second half part, like financial modeling, demand modeling. But there I got A's from them. Like I was able to do both of that because of the course structure. We used to do like demographic, how to study demography of a city, how to understand the economy of a city, how it's working, what are the main institutions involved in the things, main institutions in what is the government's structure of a city, how a city is governed. Like what happens with a general MBA background student, they used to come with a very irrational ideas, like I am saying practically, I'm being practical, yeah, why can't we do that? So I used to tell them, no, we need to take 10 of permissions for that. So it's easy to say. So then and SPA, a planning background student, they used to say, no, everything should be going fine way. But having a A's means I was having a A's only due to like I was having a practical view due to MBA courses and basics of the planning courses as well. So that was that's what I think was the best thing about the program.
Yes, so I would actually complement or reflect upon this question a little bit more, that in our MBA UMG program, we have courses right from management discipline subjects, so that any of the MBA would require certain fundamental courses to understand. So what happens that once we understand those courses, the students, what I have observed, that they are able to reflect upon, let's say, design thinking, let's say marketing, let's say operations research. These all subjects have varied discipline and I would say applications. But once we understand these courses, I have seen that the graduates from your batch and from the next batches also, they have been able to apply, let's say, quantitative techniques or operations management in various disciplines or in their own new disciplines, which was not taught in the classroom. So basically where it helps is having an urban understanding with understanding of businesses or how to operate a business. It has basically helped the students. So basically on that line I was discussing with Amit. I will come back to your previous answer, Viswa, where you briefly mentioned that you were part of the placement team also for the students. So can you quickly tell us about how was the summer internship and final placement experience, how it is being done, and basically some reflection upon the data that where all the students went to work.
Yeah, basically, I will start with summer internship. So, summer internship, as being a pioneer batch, what we decided that we will touch each and every sector, like right from consultancy, business development, project management, and operations. And we tried approximately 2,500 companies, and we got our best chances with the companies like EY was there, then Spectrum Techno Consultant was there, then KPMG is also there. It's a very unique structure what we developed at that moment, because as we are all new at the moment, and our only aim that we will get maximum exposure from the industry, how to deliver our course as our learning, and we can add value to the business models and the business market. So this is the SIP scenario, and in placement we are very
Here, since all the participants would not be knowing about summer internship program SIP. So basically, it is a 8 to 12 weeks of live working with the industry organizations after completion of first year, where students go and work with them. Some of them can be offered a placement offer also. Otherwise, they have a industry orientation of a learning, and then when they come back, where in our second year courses generally, which are urban concentration courses, there they are able to reflect and relate more with respect to industry, that what has to be done. Right, this one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, you can carry on.
Yeah, so after SIP, means summer internship course, when we aim at our placement scenario, at that moment we again discuss with all the students, all the batchmates of our batch, and we just take their suggestions and their help also, how to pitch into the companies, how to get a better placement, and we ended up with approximately, I don't remember exact numbers, but probably by the day of convocation, we had 12 to 13 numbers of students placed properly. And in that company also EY was there, then Questcorp was there, then Sarta Group was there, JLL was there. So we also touched a maximum reach of the market by joining consulting firms, again project management, and various kind of industry that belongs to urban domain. So it's all about how you can utilize your learning and your experience throughout the 2 years of MBA program. And I would like to mention two of the courses, means unique courses you can say. One is ULE and another is your capstone project. ULE is basically urban learning experience, where students get a chance to closely observe and understand the process of municipal bodies, or you can say urban local bodies, and can define their further step towards their engagement process. And in capstone project, it's basically it's a 3 credit paper in the final term, and where you can utilize, you can emphasize your own idea upon the cities, upon the urban services, and you can work upon that. And yes, definitely that gives personally gives me a immense experience, where when I came into the domain of solid waste management. Basically my capstone project was on water and waste management. So when I venture into solid waste management projects, I find it very handful and very valuable related to my work. Actually 50% of my work has been already done in terms of my capstone project. So yes, it's very helpful towards my job and towards my career orientation.
Thank you, Vishwa. Actually, I was going to come to you, Amit, also for your ULE experience and your capstone project experience. I will add to that also. I would request you to explain how was your ULE urban learning experience, and also I would like you to reflect upon the capstone project. How was the project was totally devised? Plus, if you can briefly also tell us about the ARC Summit, the colloquiums, the Samavesh which we did. So basically, all events, maybe academic or curriculum.
Oh, sure. I will start from the ULE. So ULE, as Biswa explained, it's an urban learning experience program. In that we were in a we were attached with a ULE. I was attached with a Sambalpur Municipal Corporation. So at there we got a practical view on the governance structure of the city, how cities are governed. If I am coming with a real estate project, if I am coming with some road project, so from which authorities we need to take permissions, so which authorities we are involved in these kind of projects. So working with the ULE gave me the first practical experience how a city operates. So if I am coming with any kind of a project in a city, whether it is a private project or whether it is a government project, with whom we need to interact, with how many agencies needed to be taken coordination to complete any project. So in practical life, we used to every day we used to say, like, one department comes and construct a road, and just a week after, the department will come and dig that road. So why these kind of problems are arising? So from this was my at that time we were in the third sem. We completed our second sem and then we went for the ULE. So we got up at least like mm, which we used to say at that time, like, till date we have only the bookish knowledge, but when we went for the ULE, it gives us a practical knowledge how a city operates, what things we need to cater to run a city very well. So this was, and it was very interesting. We college organized all the things to interact with the commissioners and higher authorities. So we interacted with them, so they have a different perspective, which we went with a different perspective, and we came with a different perspective. So that's how our narrative changed about how a city operates and how we need to understand a city. So this was ULE experience. I can't take so much time. So apart from that, being the first year batch, and I was a coordinator of Habitus, which was responsible for organizing all the programs, these summits and all. So in first year we organized the arcs, because we, being the first batch, we were privileged also, because we get a lot of chance to learn. We organized 2 arcs summit, in which we invited people from the industry and academia, um, uh, uh, related to or pertaining to the urban development sector, and maybe only developmental sector, or urban management sector, right? And then this gives us a like time, and also develop a point of view when we used to interact with the people working in industry. It gives us a means again a chance to understand the domain, understand the how the practically consultants or other companies are working, what they need. So apart from these programs, we also used to organize leadership talks. We used to invite people from industry. We used to invite people from different colleges and senior professors. So and we also, even as a program, we used to invite some people for guest lectures for 4 or 5 classes, who are the expert in some few things, and have a different view and can give us a some good knowledge about a field. So these were the activities in which we were involved. So it was a good experience to communicate with people, then inviting them, and then learning from them. It helped us in a placement as well, because people used to know, like, how he is doing these kind of things. So it was overall a good experience and good chance to learn from these things.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you. Basically, I'm getting quite a few questions here. So there is a question, and partly both of you have answered it about the placements. So there's a question about what is the general placement scenario, percentage of placements, and salary. So I'll take that opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Professor Mayank, I'd like you to also add to what the alums are saying, because they are the first batch and you have known the placement trajectory over the next 2 years also. Yes. So I think it will be good for the participants to listen to you. That is one. The other thing I wanted to add is also that the size of the batch we had started with was very small because that was the first year. So as Amit said, we had 17 students, but we have subsequently doubled the intake and currently we have 40. But we are also restricting it to 40 because somebody studying urban management and governance and MBA requires much more individual attention than a regular MBA student. So typically our MBA class is of 60 students, but in UMG, we restrict it to 40 in order for the faculty to be able to give them special attention. So just wanted to share this with the participants. But I think the other thing I would like to ask Biswa also is to share with the participants or even Amit about how they have found the market developing and growing over the last 2-3 years. So that would also give a picture of what is really happening in the market and how the demand for such talent is likely to grow.
Sure, Professor.
So,
Thank you, Professor.
okay.
So basically to answer, Amit, I'll just ask you to, I would ask you to hold on for a few minutes. So basically there is this question again and again coming about the placement scenario and the job roles which are coming up. So we are fortunate enough to have seen through 3 batches who have graduated. The last batch, that is the class of 2018-20, which just graduated. We have seen that in the last 3 years, the generally placements are in 3 to 4 verticals which can be classified. We have seen that students are getting placed, number one, with all the PMUs or SPVs which are directly working with the government. That has been one of the sector. Apart from that, there are definitely consultants vertical, which is a very traditional consulting sector in urban domain, in public services domain, or in government's domain. And the last one being real estate or advisory groups, which are partially related to the resources and infrastructure within the urban systems. So these are the broad 3 areas where the graduates actually get placed. The average placement, I would say, generally in our first 3 batches, this batch, because of this pandemic, there are 2 to 3 students who are yet to receive the offer letter. Otherwise, we have been able to place all the students. Generally, the salary packages have been in the range of 6 to 8 lakhs. That would be the average package per annum. But the maximum has always touched 10 lakh per annum also. Although I would like to actually discuss our alums here to actually take upon their, I would say, career trajectory also, that how the career takes on forward. That question would be little later. But for now, there is this smaller question which I was just going to ask, and Professor Kajri Mishra also mentioned here, that if we can quickly talk about basically how you can see the job role or the job market is developing in this domain, in urban domain, how you are finding the competencies in the domain, in your teams or in your new bidding projects also, how easy, how difficult it is to find a person with required or necessitated qualifications also. I'll ask both of you to answer one by one. Maybe Amit can start.
Yes, sir, surely. First, I will would like to answer the thing on placements as well. You know, everyone who are using this platform will be using platform like LinkedIn and all. So you can check where the alums are placed, where they are working, and on Glassdoor you can check the average packages for them and their position. So that's my answer. So no one can means lie.
True.
Right. So, and second thing coming on like our career, how the job roles, what are our job roles, and how our career is career path, and how it will grow. So basically, with government's focus on infrastructure sector and especially the changing mindset, like initially it was a mindset of government like India is a country of rural or villages, but now that scenario has changed. Now country or government is thinking that all the urban centers are economic centers as well. They are driving the economy of country, so they need to manage the cities very well, because otherwise they will be unable to draw the fund to run the rural areas. So that was the main reason, I think, which changed the government mindset. And when we see the scenario, means in last 2 or 3 years, government has heavily invested in the urban infrastructure things. When you see that how government is investing in the roads, urban roads, or urban waste management system, or urban water supply system. So this it has taken a shift, total shift now. And with increasing investment, it is creating a job opportunities for the urban managers. So many states, like I'm giving an example of Jharkhand. They had a positions called a special position called urban managers for every city. Just like I was going through news in Odisha, they had started a municipal cadre, right? So I think the sector is like it will be growing for the next 20-30 years. It's not going to um, saturate. Saturation will be after 30 or 40 years. So we don't have any issue like ki we will not get job, or we will not grow in our career. So I don't think even in a consultancy field, uh, what I feel, like my specialization in urban management or urban infrastructure thing had helped me to carve a niche path. If someone gets a project, I am giving you a practical example. If someone gets a project like developing some urban infrastructure in PwC, definitely he will like contact me whether you want to work on that or not. So this is an added advantage with me. Like people know yes, he can work on these things. He have a niche understanding of this field or this sector. So I think in a career path I will grow on. And from in last 2 years I have like did a satisfactory work. That's what I can say. So
Sure,
it's been now only 2 years, so nothing much can be said.
No, definitely, that is a testimonial of your work also, that one can know that what you have been working. So thank you for the response. Biswa, can I request you to actually reflect upon what is the job market at present as you have perceived and observed? And I would take this opportunity to inform our participants that Biswa has also been helping us in recruitment also. And in that case, Amit is also helping us. So basically our alums have been in the market and understanding that what are the requirements in the market. This over to you. Yeah.
So let's say I am just taking city as a company or a business entity. So you can just imagine city as a business entity, and as a business entity have various departments. Also, city administrations also have their various departments. So in urban domain right now, you can find consultancy sector, you can find project management sector, you can find operation management, you can find some kind of external consultant. You can work always. You can work as a external consultant to any of the cities. So broadly, if I divide the urban domain, then consultancy is one of the wing, then your project management or operation and process management is another wing. So you can always choose both of the path to nourish your career. You can have a very good growth in both of the things. Also, adding to that, nowadays various NGOs like Janagraha, HCL Foundation, Yes Foundation, then Axis Bank Foundation, these foundations are mainly focusing on urban services like WASH, you can say livelihood programs, you can say educating the migrants who are coming from the rural background and they don't understand the city as the permanent residents of the cities understand their city in a way. So I can say that this sector is just as a business management course. You can say here a city can be understood as a business entity, and different departments are there, like procurement departments are there. If you are very good in financing, you can always join a procurement team where you can suggest urban local bodies how to envisage a project with the finance part. Again, if you are a consultant, you can always come with a problem statement and a solution, and you can work as a consultant. And when a consultant float any kind of tender, or when a consultant try to solve any kind of city problem, then they float a tender. So that tender will be executed by the private entity, and those can be pursued as a project management or operation, or you can say external consultant way. So this sector is not limited into consultancy, neither into project management, nor into there is another organization. They provide infographics for the particularly for Indian cities. So if you are good at writing, if you are very good narrator for the any blog, or you are a blogger, then you also can pursue your career in urban domain. You can write many things in the your blog, or you can write many articles for the companies. So yes, nowadays I can say you can diversify into various domains as per your dream, as per your goal.
Thank you, Viswa. Thank you. Actually, the idea is very informatively. You have explained that there are various verticals, and basically, this also testifies that people from varied background can come into the domain because the job roles are equally varied. So it's basically jigs of it is quite easy that since anyone can admit, or anyone with the orientation on urban studies can be admitted, just because the orientation in job role is also equally varied also. So thanks for a very detailed response. I can see that one of another first batch graduate, Mr. Somnath Kar, is also in the discussion. If he can hear me, then I can have a question for him also. Are you audible? Somnath, can you hear us? I guess if we would be able to listen from him, then we'll come back to him again. So that makes me understand that has been a very interesting experience. Plus, in the last 2 years of your graduation, you have chalked out various projects and I would say courses also. If I have to ask for a very crisp advice from both of you to the existing students or to the potential students, then if I can request, what kind of advice you would be able to give them?
Amit, can you please start, or should I start?
No, you should start. I'll continue.
Whether the present batch or the people who are practicing urban development practices in the market, I will suggest that don't limit yourself to a particular domain. Like if you are getting an opportunity in consultancy, that doesn't mean you cannot come back to corporate sector, or you cannot come back to business development sector. Because for example, myself I also had a experience of consultancy, and again for me I don't find it that much fruitful, so I came back again to the corporate sector, and now I'm serving as a business development. Similarly, I would like to mention one of the project which I have recently completed successfully. It's a Noida solid waste management. So I was working with HCL Foundation, where there are planners, there are managers. I can say people are from IIMs, XISS, then TIS, then SEPT people are also there, SPA people are also there, and it's a very good experience. Like and then I understood that that at any moment in this domain particularly, you can switch to as per your desire, or as per your own dream role. Don't focus on the company, or don't confine yourself to a particular sector. If you are very good at waste management or water management, don't think that only way to get into this is getting a job in this field. You can always come to any of this field. You can always change. There are a lot of potential in the market. Once you will gain experience, once you will get visibility, people will ask you to join them. So I can clearly emphasize that as rightly Amit also mentioned before, that near this 30 to 40 years there is no saturation in this domain. Because I can say, if I can portray this thing as like urban managers are the key nuts who holds planners, investors, private players, and government body to a particular entity. They develop an ecosystem. They help the urban local body to find out a process for a successful outcome of a project. At the same time, they can guide a public entity to execute the project. At the same time, being a consultant, they can prepare a very good solution, or they can prepare a very good proposal for the city, how to state the problem and how to overcome the problem. So there is no limitation. Don't confine yourself to a particular thing. Make your goal very open and make it clear that where you want to go, and it doesn't matter what kind of path or which path you are choosing, because end of the day your path is leading to towards your goal. So accept the challenge, get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you require to work on field. Maybe you can get a very sophisticated AC room where you can work, but work. One thing I will suggest, that don't be ideal, and don't sit in the mind frame that you will not get a job, or what will happen if I not get a placement, because it is always opportunities are available in the market for this kind of practitioner, particularly in urban development, as there are lacking talents in this market.
Thank you, Biswa. Just a quick note in between, that both of you are agreeing that the market is for next 30-40 years, only given the condition that we all survive this pandemic, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And one more thing I need to add.
Yes,
Only one thing I need to add. Like, don't worry about placement. Anyone who will join and study the course very well, he will get placed, or he will get a job on his own, even he need not help of university. That's my practical experiences.
Thank you, Amit, on that also. I have got two questions I would quickly take, and I would take the opportunity to answer both of them. So the first question is the course designed for working professionals too? Yes, I understand that this course would definitely help the working professionals, but since it is a full-time residential program, the working professional, someone having experience in urban domain, this course is going to definitely support their career trajectory. Only, but basically, as long as they are able to have basically have that window of 2 years of, I would not say 2 years, but at least 21 months of on-campus study, because it would not be possible to do away with our actually our classroom contact kind of teaching. There is another question about, can you explain about the placement exposures in government sectors? So basically, all of the government sectors do have a recruitment at this level, either through public service commissions, where in the recruitment rules, R&R rules, it has to be clearly identified that for what kind of designation, what kind of degree is required. So at present, some of the states I can mention Punjab for basically example one, which has actually amended its R&R rules in urban specialization courses. There are various smart city fellowships, there are various SPVs where this job role is getting listed. So for the government, as long as for the government public service commission recruitments, states need to slowly change, and they are changing. But one of the major ways of working with government at present is working through SPVs and PMUs, which are approximately 80 to 90% of the workforce which are working with the government. And all of them are clearly appreciating and understanding that this kind of a discipline actually gives an MBA plus kind of a background, where one understands businesses as well as the basics of cities, and definitely on the job role people do learn about it also. So that was another question. If Somnath is still around and if he can hear us, I can quickly ask him, otherwise we can move towards our last question also. Okay, I doubt he is able to listen to us. Yes, ma'am? No, I can't. So basically, one last question about how was your...
to find out if he's there.
Okay, one last question to Amit and Biswa. Any one of you can answer, or both of you can answer. That what was your experience of living in the campus, that cosmopolitan culture, learning from your peers, what kind of activities actually go on, any kind of experience which you can share?
So I can say it was a nice experience living in campus. Campus is, we all know, it's a beautiful campus, newly developed, away from city. Earlier there were many facilities were not available, but when we were leaving, we were in second year. So I think almost there were 4 or 5 restaurants, and most of the problems were solved. So, and even though I can say it was a nice experience living there, campus was good, and other activities which university used to do, especially I was a football lover. So we and I and Gaurav used to play football in the ground daily evening. So I can say it was one of the best part of my life. So which I spent there.
Thank you, Amit.
So
Thank you.
What
Vishwa.
about the other events that students really enjoy, like your Zambori and the other stuff and all the events? I think
that
the
Vishwa will
students.
explain. He was.
So basically,
So,
Vishwa had lot many administrative responsibilities also. So I think he would be able to respond better. Over to Vishwa.
yeah. So, campus life in Javier, I can say for me particularly, it was the first home, I can say, for the 2 years. So, we have celebrated each and every festival, irrespective of religion, irrespective of time, irrespective of region. We celebrated Holi, we celebrated Matki Ford, and Jamboree right now, which we are hosting, is one of the biggest festival in the country, as well as now it is going more immensely and getting more people, attracting more people. At the same time, I can say in hostel life or in campus life in the XUB, you can experience such kind of life where you can betterment yourself. Because you are not living in your home, you are living with your what you say, your batchmates, who are always there. If you are falling sick, then your first call may go to your parents, but your first respond will be from your next door batchmate or your next door friend. So yes, it is quite fun. We spend lot of sleepless night during our let's say Arc Summit or any kind of events, or even if in Jamboree also. I think I cannot address some of things on the public platform, but yes, you will get each and every fun whatever you can expect from a campus life. Yes, you can.
Thank you, Vishwa. Thank you, Amit. I'll take this opportunity to request any of the participants if they have any further suggestions or queries.
Another important aspect of this organization is the way it deals with the development of.
So I think there was some audio issue. So anyways, it was basically a very, I would say, enlightening and basically quite nostalgic experience with talking to our first batch alums. And yes, it's always nice to listen to them. I guess I can request Professor Kajri Mishra also to have a 1 minute or 2
No,
minutes.
I just wanted to request that since we can't hear them, but if the participants, other participants are online, can send questions or feedback about whether they found this useful to our organizer, to the XUB online they can see. That would be very useful for us also. And also to inform them that we would be able to do repeat webinars on other aspects, and if they would be interested, and to share it with others who may be interested to listen about urban management, not just about urban management at XAHS, but about the field and how it is growing and what is really happening and what exactly it can contribute in terms of better development of our cities. But currently, since we can't hear them, if they can give us questions or feedback, it would be great.
Sure. So as initially discussed, all of you should definitely write back to us or text us the email address which was initially explained, or maybe I can again repeat. You can write to at least to me, mayank@xub.edu.in, or you can write to any of the faculty over here also, and then we would be definitely able to respond back to you. And I would and the email addresses must be mentioned here also, xhs@xub.edu.in, so you can also write it back to it. So basically, it was a very nice experience talking to all of you. Thank you, all the participants, definitely the 2 speakers alum from our first batch, our faculty members from Xavier School of Human Settlements, and all other participants. Some of them might be joining us also from the next academic year. It was a nice experience. We promised that we would be back with further more webinars, which would be definitely helpful in the domain about the program and anything which is concurrent also. So it was nice talking to all of you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So
Thank you.
it's a nice experience as well as a honor for me to address my own college. So thanks to Kajri ma'am, thanks to Mayank sir, thanks to Tathargat sir, and all the faculty members who are present here, and all the participants who have very patiently, I think, beared us for 40 to 45 minutes. And only request, stay safe and stay inside. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.